everyone. I am Crawlers, and um, at the time of this recording, there's only 8 people playing CTE, Hardline CTE worldwide. Those 8 poor sods. And I mean, the vanilla game on PC is topping out at around 2,000 players per day, and bottoming out under 1,000 players. So the situation in Hardline is pretty terrible, but entirely expected. The game is filled with problems, and it's quickly going the way of Titanfall, and even more so, I think, because Titanfall had a bit of its own character, although obviously the gameplay closely resembled COD. Hardline is not a game that has its own character as much. I think it's very Battlefield-esque, but also, borrows many gameplay cues from COD, Bounty Hunter game mode being the biggest one, probably. I mean, the game isn't what Battlefielders really want to play, I don't think. Serious players on PC want a team-based, tactical shooter that's a bit more serious than Hardline, like Battlefield and Arma, and, Rainbow Six, I'm sure is gonna do well on PC. Hardline is just more gimmicky and caters more to COD kiddies than anything else, with clusterfuck maps like the block, terrible gimmicks like the zebra skins and wolf masks, and cheap kills like constant annoying sabotage and RPG spam and hotwire, and little variety in guns and gameplay. Not to mention the so-called competitive game modes, which are pretty much dead on arrival as they were so poorly constructed, I think. But there's a lot of gameplay problems here, and I mean a lot. I mean, the maps have terrible collision models. Everglades being the worst offender probably among all maps. I put out a video a couple of days ago on this, recording one such very obvious instance of invisible walls, and this game can't be called competitive when you have a map full of invisible walls. And I just gotta wonder, how did this game pass Visceral's quality control? I mean, have they not played their own game? Or either that, or EA was just pressuring them to release it as soon as possible, so all these issues were chucked as, won't fix on release. Or maybe they just spend all their time on the Fakakta campaign, which, to be honest, I didn't even find all that fun. I mean, some people left Hardline because I'm sure of their lack of patches and fixing the game outside some half-assed attempts at gun balancing, which did nothing because the guns are still horribly unbalanced. And we only had 2 patches so far, so the game where the patches really fixed nothing that requires attention, and the reload bug is still there. The gun balancing sucks. Horribly sloppy collision models on every map. Promised gimmicks like gun bench is nowhere to be seen. Not that I want it in the game. And things like legendary status, which is visceral for prestige. And what did they patch? Have you actually read the patch notes? They changed the number of RPGs from 2 to 1, and some damage drop of values for a couple of weapons, and that's it. So what the hell? But to get the new blood into the community, into the Hardline community, I suppose, EA is slashing the prices to, the vanilla game, the base game, which is already 50% off, and it's been, a couple of months since release. And premium, which you can get right now from Green Man Gaming for like $35. And while that's, going to do a little bit for the population, invite a couple of new people, and it also might have a completely opposite effect than Visceral wanted, because they wanted to attract players, but diehard players might actually have, been turned off by this as a ploy to, you know, get newbie players in, and the influx of COD kiddies as it, floods in, some diehard players might just leave the game. And I mean, people leave the game for different reasons. Some people, because Hardline has very little variety in the gameplay and gun-wise. I mean, I'm not saying the game needs 20 guns per class to be successful, not at all. But look at Bad Company 2, for example. It doesn't have 20 weapons per class, but when a game like Hardline is so ridiculously close to, Battlefield 4 and the Battlefield 3 experience, we just, played for over a year, which kind of left a sour taste in our mouths. And in and of itself, it adds so little of this content on top of the quote new gaming experience. It's just, you find yourself saying, well, so what? Okay, I got a new gun here and a new game mode like Blood Money or something like that. But because people played the hell out of it in the beta and it was just so overhyped just after release, and because, there's only like 4 guns per class, and the variety just isn't there after a couple of weeks to keep us coming back. There's really nothing new that adds to the fun since then because it's all already been done. So people got bored and understandably left the game. And incidentally, the fact that Hardline's weapons are forever faction specific hurts them even further, as now you get even less content per class, as it's literally split in two. You had 8 guns per class, but now it's 4 guns per class because one team has access to only half of those guns. Some people might hate the low time to kill in Hardline as it's way too hardcore for them. Some people like to play, softcore in these shooter games and don't play hardcore for the life of it. And, still others might have left because they think that Hardline isn't enough to be called a standalone title, but, you know, looks more a bit like an expansion pack, and paying a AAA price tag for it just doesn't feel right. I mean, not that you shouldn't buy it, I mean, if you had fun, by all means, but trouble is, there's just not much fun to be had once, that new game smell wears off, and I'm afraid the DLCs will be more of the same. They will be fun for about a week or so, and after that the DLC servers will be empty, and at which point the admins will question why they are, paying for a server that's empty most of the time, and obviously stop paying for it. So a bad situation will get even worse with fewer and fewer servers running the game. And now this clusterfuck with Matimio and Moonbach tweet that created drama, from his video game from his video rather, where he came to the Visceral event to play Hardline, and in his video he didn't recommend it, the DLCs, and EA's he's one of EA's biggest EA's games biggest channels outside of Level Cap maybe. He's probably going to get some, bad things out of this because he spoke his mind, ironically, but maybe not get invited to these things in the future. I don't know though how these things work, but this shit's gonna be, it's gonna be the Streisand effect. The more EA and Visceral want to censor it, the more it will come out and create negative publicity and to an already bitter community, and will have they will get even angrier. And honestly, can you blame them? The game's been through some terrible decisions over its short lifetime. First, the limited edition came out for $10 extra for 3 extra guns, so you felt like you were buying part of a game with the standard edition. Then they said you couldn't even unlock these guns with premium or through gameplay unless you got the limited edition, which is terrible because you can still play with these guns in CTE. So, people that paid the 10 extra bucks got shafted as they literally paid for nothing if they later bought premium and got into the CTE anyway. People got angry, especially after all the fanboys got their panties in a wad promising not to pre-order the next EA game after the Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 failures on release. Uh, now you got these premium exclusive weapons which might be a repeat of the Bulldog from Battlefield 4, where you're paying to win basically, and where the FAO is going to be the top gun for a bit, and a situation where each of the DLCs will focus on a different quest. So pretty much fuck you if you want to play as the operator with the new weapons from a DLC. Another small detail is less DLCs and less content from Hardline Premium for the same price as Battlefield 4 Premium. And speaking of which, they added 10 extra songs with this current Criminal Activity DLCs. And, you know, paying for licensing of those songs instead of an extra DLC is a little bit disheartening to me. It's not something I want to do. I don't want to pay for 10 extra songs in the, in premium. I mean, this is not GTA. This is Hardline. You're supposed to kill people, not listen to music in your car. I mean, some of these issues might not exist anymore after the patch, like the horribly sloppy collision boxes, hopefully at least, on some maps that, according to Visceral, should be patched a bit. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully a little bit better after this summer patch. And, hope to see you in game. Hope to fill up some CTE servers. Hopefully the community, fills up some servers and we see some influx of new blood in the game. So thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one. And remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.